this is a clip I got about 45 miles into my walk of the A4. About 2 miles-ish from Stone Circle. By this point I'd been walking for 4 consecutive days, and I was feeling it. Let's take another sit down. It's become a bit of a routine now. Like, walk about half a mile and then sit down, or whatever. That was just one of the many challenges I'd face on the A4. So, my name's John, Reading native, filmmaker, slightly experienced walker in the Berkshire area. In summer of 2021, I decided to do something that I think will make for an interesting series. Walk the length of the A4. It's probably the stupidest idea I've ever come up with. For those of you who don't know, the A4 is a historic road in southern England, stretching from Avonmouth, which is west of Bristol, all the way across the country through several towns, finally ending up in central London 126 miles later. Now, 126 miles may not sound like a long distance, but for a Brit, that is a bloody long way to go. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is mad, and yes, totally mad. But after the last couple of years, where we've all been locked inside, I think all we've wanted to do was get out and go somewhere. And that's what you're going to see over the next 12 episodes. The highs. Oh my god, this is special, this is. The lows. This is awful, this is awful. The downright ridiculous. I'm walking along the A4 and I'm weirdly humming along to the Coronation Street theme. And a lot, and I mean a lot of walking. You're watching Walking the Length of the A4.
Platform 8 for the 10:58 Great Western Railway service to Bristol Temple Meads. Follows Didcot Parkway, Swindon, Chippenham, Bath Spa and Bristol Temple Meads.
The first challenge of the A4 was, funnily enough, finding the start of it. Having only slightly above knowledge of the road before 2021, I knew it was somewhere around this area here. But I didn't know where exactly the start point was. In fact, it's here, at this very unassuming roundabout, less than a mile from the Bristol Channel in Avonmouth. So the first challenge was getting there. Luckily for me, that only required 2 trains, which took less than 2 hours to get to from Reading.
This is a Great Western Railway service to Avonmouth.
After a successful and ludicrously cheap journey, I arrived at Avonmouth station, within breathing distance of the start point, but there was a small problem. Okay, so I made it to Avonmouth. I don't really know where I'm going. I know I'm very close to the start of the A4, but I think there's like a roundabout which I go like that way. After a look at the map, this issue was quickly sorted. I know exactly where the roundabout is. It's about, I'd say, 200 metres that way. And that's just walking there and then I'm starting it. It's crazy how fast it's come around and I'm actually doing it. And so, after this brief sit down, I made my way to the roundabout. If you're expecting a grand affair, you're gonna be very disappointed. It's simply a roundabout. What else do you expect? With a sign saying the A4 is that way. But to me, at that moment, it was the start of a journey. Okay, so this is literally the start. The start of the A4 is here. They say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. We're walking the A4. We're walking the A4. Oh my god. Alright. soon after crossing under the M5, the first and only motorway crossing for 80 miles on the route, I gave a short update on the weather.
It started raining. I thought for a second that the weather would be absolutely flawless out here, but that might make things a bit more tricky. The thing is, with this camera I could probably leave out in the rain for a little even without the waterproof case, but this one, nah, not happening. If the rain gets too heavy, there's no way that this camera is gonna survive. Anyway, little progress update. We're probably currently about just under a mile in, I'd say, and it's 7 miles to the city centre of Bristol. I've just seen a sign for it. I didn't get a shot of it, unfortunately, but trust me, we are 7 miles from the city centre. That is easily doable today. Trouble is, how easy will the rest of the days be?
That does lead me on to something, the strategy for this walk. The long and short of this whole thing is I planned on completing the A4 over 10 legs. Each will be discussed at length later, but right now all you need to know is on day 1 I planned on walking around 8 miles from Avonmouth, following the standard suburban housing of Western England, through the cliffs of the Avon estuary, under the famous Clifton Suspension Bridge, and finishing at the Finzel's Reach Premier Inn in the middle of Bristol. Or it might have been Finzel's Reach, I don't know. A Premier Inn in Bristol. But first, I needed to enjoy the good weather while it lasted.
Okay, so I was walking, and I just saw there's a good view coming up, and I saw there were a few benches, and I was thinking this will give me a really good view coming up. I really feel so lucky to be here.
Sadly, that was the last clip I got before the rain came in.
Taking cover under a tree because it's actually raining a little heavier. It just started, it starts so quickly and it ends just as fast, but right now it's, you know, a little bit too rainy. I mean, like I said, today's the only day where rain's going to be an issue, hopefully. It's so crazy though how it was sunny and now it's raining. It's not the worst that could happen by any stretch. A little bit of rain, what's that going to do? My spirits are so high, I'm not gonna let rain get to me. With that, you know, I think I'll just go. Yeah, it's raining, but it's gonna stop. And the longer I stay there, the longer it's gonna take me to get to Bristol. So.
Not long after, the rain indeed got too bad to carry on with the camera out in the open, so for a short while I packed my Canon in my bag. The footage from this point on won't look as good. Canon safety secured, I progressed into the now heavy rain.
Right, it's tipping it down, but we gotta make it there. You probably can't see it with this awful camera, but I just got my first look at the Clifton Suspension Bridge.
I was still concerned about the camera, but I had the false impression the rain was calming down. So, approaching a site like the Clifton Suspension Bridge, I had to pull out the big guns to capture it in all its glory. The camera still needed protection, however, so radical action was required.
So I came up with a plan. I've got it under my jacket. The rain's dying down a bit. The trucks aren't. As you saw in the clip, when the truck drove past, I thought, what the hell? But anyway, we're really coming close to the bridge now, and the rock formations, they're looking, oh man, they look like something like from Jurassic Park or something. Like, they're amazing. are at the suspension bridge. I'm just looking up here. Oh, like what? Who thought? Oh, let's build a bridge. Let's build it this high. Like, come on, let's see how high we can build it. Oh, that is quite something. Right when I pass under the bridge, the sun comes out. Oh my god, this is special. This is. I knew I'd get a different kind of walk, and this is that different kind of walk. Oh, I hope you can see it in the background. Like, it doesn't come across on camera. Like, looking at it, it's huge. It's massive. It doesn't come across at all.
And with that sudden improvement in the weather, passing under the bridge, I'm afraid this is the end of episode 1. But the series has only just begun. Tune in for episode 2 as I enter Bristol and continue along the A4.